If they told you that cutting me off is how we're gonna get clicks, stop it now.
No one here is
Are you acting right now?
We had a black president, just in case you didn't know.
Your ignorance is so overwhelming.
See, y'all, that's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all getting defeated in an argument.
So if you want me to keep getting louder, I will do it.
And Martin Luther King's most famous quote is that he doesn't want his children to be judged based on race, but by the content of their character. White people didn't show up and just start stealing people. They didn't do that. That's not how that works.
Literally did that.
But they didn't.
You're not even a black American.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. In this video, we are going to be watching race hustler Amanda Seales on Jubilee, acting like an obnoxious, entitled brat, whilst being confronted with reality by a bunch of black conservatives. This is just such a typical example of somebody who has been told that they're oppressed their whole entire life, and that their oppressors are straight white male chads. And now it has just made them completely insufferable. So today we're going to go through all of the slimy leftist tactics that she uses, how to defeat these tactics, and also evidence that she's actually very unpopular in the black community in America herself. So with that, let's get into it.
Democrats are not doing reparations either.
This
is nonpartisan. This is black partisan, baby. Okay?
Well,
this is nonpartisan.
Who do we vote for? Who do we vote for 93% of the time? There's no incentive.
To be quite honest, you're not talking to a Democrat. You're talking to a radical.
Okay, but let's
land this plane very quickly.
Who do we vote for?
Let's land this plane quickly.
Who do we vote for?
You're talking to a radical, not a Democrat.
Okay, and you are your own person.
Let me tell you
who do we
something
vote
now.
for?
I don't know what they told you, but if they told you that cutting me off is how we're going to get clicks, stop it now.
Oh, no.
That's not how we're going to. That's not how we're going to enter.
We having a debate.
A debate does not require continuously cutting somebody off.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so that is the first example of a recurring theme throughout this entire episode where she's showing how much of a strong, independent black woman she is.
Stop it now.
And how nobody will be asking her any clarifying questions today. She just has to be able to monologue the whole entire time. And particularly if she doesn't like the direction in which the questions are going, she's just going to shotgun and filibuster the whole entire debate. And what we just saw there was that guy yielding.
Okay, no problem.
And that is never ever what you do in debates against these sorts of obnoxious people. And we'll get into that more as we go, but for now, let's get into the next clip.
I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the black community would be the stopping of violence, especially black on black violence. I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give everyone here like a $50,000, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violent crimes consistently, a $50,000 check. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% or 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other, according to the FBI?
Oh, young Matt.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied to you.
Stats don't lie, though.
Statistics lie all the time. So let's start there, particularly when the statistics are coming from the sources that gain from the statistics being shown a different way. So if you're going to start your argument on stats don't lie, you've already lost the argument. They lie all the time. Yeah. One, comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you acting right now? Do you really believe this?
I'm telling the truth. There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America. What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? No more.
Okay. So
I don't know why Jubilee decided to cut 10 seconds there before she said that. So we don't know what made her react that way. I'm sure it wasn't anything too bad.
When black men are more likely to kill me.
Oh my God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama.
And they also cut the 10 seconds after.
To think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now.
Okay.
Okay. So On a basic level.
But at this point in the debate, and this is where a lot of people get this wrong, I've realized that the best way to actually combat people like this is to just hit them back harder than they hit you. These people are bullies, and what is the best thing that you can do to a bully?
Oh, I can't believe you've done this.
But this guy just kind of says, okay, and he just lets her get away with it. I mean, these people are just so used to using their oppression status and their victim Olympics to make everybody bend the knee to them. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, people do that. But instead of doing that, if she says you have to treat me like your mama, you just say, okay, fine. I will treat you like you're my mama if you just call me daddy, because I am your daddy.
Who's your daddy?
Or if he said, well, you definitely look old enough to be my mum. Or if he just said, well, my mum actually looks black. Anyways, coulda, woulda, shoulda. With these sorts of uncivilized people, it's not the only way, but it actually does work to meet insolence with more insolence. It's like a prison mentality. Sometimes it's the only language that they know. And if you stay passive and civilized, then they'll just take that for weakness and you'll get steamrolled. So let's watch the rest. But before we get there, guys, I want to share with you this story from Ground News about this very topic. Check this out. Trump says woke Smithsonian overemphasizes slavery, urges focus on America's brightness. Now, it goes without saying the left will be losing their minds about this. And they are all going on about how Trump's harping on how bad slavery was. Trump tells Smithsonian to stop saying how bad slavery was. This is the cool thing about Ground News. They compile tens of thousands of sources from around the internet and they put them in one place where you can see the total news sources, how they lean, the bias distribution, and even the ownership of the sources. It saves you from having to go and subscribe to a bunch of different useless platforms. You get all the information in one place. And what's better is that for Rattlesnake TV listeners, Ground News is offering a massive 40% off the Vantage plan, which is what I use. All you've got to do is hit the links pinned in the comments below or in the bio, or hit this QR code on the screen right here and start your Vantage plan today. And don't forget, guys, that when you do support Ground News, you're supporting a company that helps to keep this channel afloat and many others like my channel. So with that, let's get back to the video.
On a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that Black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism, and we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off. When we talk about systemic racism, we can start with even the fact that redlining, which was implemented to discriminate Black communities. Are you shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all. I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
So it does exist. And stating that it doesn't exist doesn't make it no longer exist. Redlining absolutely exists. It is not something that's being made up. It's an empirical fact. And there are realities that exist because of redlining. We know that school systems are related to the way that property taxes are affecting the school systems. If a school system is not getting the same property value as the property taxes allow it, then it's not going to have the same efficacy at allowing for students to be able to get what they deserve. When we talk about systemic racism, we have to acknowledge that these private prisons are literally built based on the test scores of school students in 3rd grade. So if you are literally building prisons with the onset of, okay, if these people are not reaching a certain reading level, then we know that they're going to go down a prison industrial pipeline where we can use their free labor, then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
stop them from entering prisons,
how are you going to stop people from entering prisons if your goal is to get them into prison?
Sure, make them try to be more like Ben Carson than be like King Von. That's very, very simple.
So how does King Von happen? How does King Von happen?
King Von
reparations. Actually, no. Let me land the plane. Yeah. We're talking about reparations, and what you're doing is actually just trying to get this conversation off the facts. And the fact is, reparations are just and necessary because on a basic level, Black people built this country, and the country continues to thrive off of the labor that Black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation that is still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears. And let me also add, there are reparations and then there is remunerations. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but can I finish one point that I wanted to say? Ben Carson's cousins were killed at a very young...
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out by the majority. Okay. Please return to your seat.
I hope some of y'all are acting. I really do. We in LA, and I hope some people in here are acting.
She hopes some of them are acting. Some serious projection going on here, guys. Because she has a theater and acting background on Nickelodeon, which ended up with her race hustling on various different TV shows when BLM was at the height of its popularity and different companies were just throwing money at black people in the public eye just to fill a quota and speak about how oppressed they are. And now that the world is waking up and that gravy train has slowed down a little bit, here we are. So if anybody knows how to act, it's her. And by the way, even in Hollywood amongst the black community there, she has a horrendous reputation. Check this out. Amanda Seales is not a victim of anything but her own hubris. I am an outspoken, highly opinionated black woman. My friends will tell you that I am no shrieking violet. I take up space everywhere I go, and I'm not afraid to voice my opinion when the need arises. And then this strong, independent black woman goes on to say why people in the black community don't rock with Amanda Seales. And her reaction to this was hilarious.
Okay, honestly, I've had enough. 3 pieces. 3 from 3 people I have never met in my life. From 3 publications that are supposed to be about uplifting black people, which is all I have dedicated my life to doing. You people literally cannot stand that someone has studied and is speaking on what they studied, that someone has read and is speaking on what they read. You can't stand that someone loves us, that someone loves us so much that their passion is so exemplary and is exuding through the phone that it touches people who literally have never felt love that much and they don't know how to process it.
Too much love to handle, guys. Anyways, back to the topic, back to the debate clip we just saw. I would like to see this kid, who's actually clearly very smart, hold her accountable at every single station, making her justify every claim, honing in on the various different semantics, and not letting her get away with anything, because that is away turf for her. The emotional, fiery rhetoric, this sort of stuff is what she does. Now, we talked about this before, and you can definitely match her, but if it's not in your temperament, if you don't really have that in your locker, which some people don't, then you definitely have to focus on these sort of data points and not back down from your points. Anyways, this kid comes back towards the end of the video and he does quite a bit better in my opinion. And now we'll move on. And I actually don't think that the next guy's points are as good as the previous kid, but he definitely does a better job of holding his own and not being pushed around.
Oh, what's that on your chain?
This is a coin from Israel.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, you gotta go.
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
I am 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you. That's what water and keeping stress out of your life will do.
Really? Mm-hmm. Liberal positions are real stressful.
By the way, I wouldn't know. I'm not a liberal. Carry on.
Well, it's the liberal position, because conservatives believe in hard work. We believe in going to work and working for what you got, not asking for handouts from people who never had slaves. Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And let's talk about the fact there were also black people that had slaves. So if you want to talk about that, how is that fair? If I'm a white person and my family fall on the side of the Union, why should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers were abolitionists, and they hated slavery. And they actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things too, because they believed that there would be a future where there would be a black president one day, or that there would be people in leadership that were black. There was people in the North who helped with the Underground Railroad and fought with the Union. So why is that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought against slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One, from my understanding, you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves.
Guys, just a quick reminder, don't forget to smash that like button as hard as you possibly can with your finger or your mouse, whatever you use, and also subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 1 million, guys. Help us out with that. Nearly 850K now. Back to the video.
That is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been the descendant of slaves.
Well, our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity. And we have equal opportunity in this country. We had a black president, just in case you didn't know. We had a black president and we had a black vice president. I think she was black. They said she was black. I don't know. So we had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man? white people, because you can't win a popular election in this country without white people. So Barack Obama is the product of white people. So let's get off this thing where, oh, America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward. People that have this liberal mindset are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality, because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those people fought for. They fought for equal opportunity.
Do not bring up Harriet Tubman's name in vain, baby, please.
They said the Lord's name in vain. The Lord's name.
It's funny how they can just go from progressive urban liberal to a 1950s charismatic preacher just like that.
Baby, please.
They said the Lord's name in vain. The Lord's name.
Doesn't seem performative at all. Oh Lord, Harriet Tubman, baby. Anyways, notice there she's not actually answering any of his questions or objections. All she does is get offended and diverge. This is why it's so important to hold these people accountable, and actually why it's pretty frustrating to watch. I mean, he had some good points here. Black people had slaves. What do we do about their descendants? Not all white people had slaves. Some of them fought against it, many of them actually. So why are we grouping all of their ancestors together? Furthermore, the liberal mindset is a victim mindset that is infecting the black community. But instead of answering any of this, what does she do when her back's up against the wall like all of these liberals? Well, she crashes out. She acts offended. Tries to feign righteous indignation in order to run away from the debate. And this is why you can't sit there quiet with these people whilst you are being lectured to. You have to match energy, which is what this guy does pretty well.
Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad.
Who helped her?
Come on in.
You know who helped her?
God. And
people who benefit from white supremacy. One of the things
it's a lie. White supremacy is a lie.
No, sir,
it's
that's simply
lie.
not
There's
true.
No such, I mean,
if that were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power when they do not have the power.
Because their culture, black culture, is toxic. The black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit.
It's
not gonna work. No, it's a beat. Has to be in fact.
You're putting off emotional liberalism right now.
I am not putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off unfounded lies based in conservatism.
Misinformation. Remember they get the misinformation thing all summer, where everything conservatives did, they said misinformation.
You're carrying a chain around your neck of an apartheid nation that actively wants to harm black people and non-Jewish people. But let me bring it back. Let me bring it back.
Selling black people in Africa.
That was not happening in the context that you're saying.
And they were selling their own people. Black people still sell their own people today too, by the way. I don't know if I'm going to last. We're selling our own people today too.
I don't know if I'm going to last.
You probably won't last with me.
I won't, because your ignorance is so overwhelming.
See, that's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all getting defeated in an argument.
You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
Well, that's fine if they don't let me come back up. I made my point.
You didn't make your point.
I made my point.
You haven't made your point. And let me just tell you about your point. You started off saying, we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not, though. Reparations is not hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard work.
Yes.
And you believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana,
are you sitting at home playing a video game? Are you sitting at home playing a video game?
The people that they wanted reparations for.
Am I sitting at home playing a video game? No.
The people I don't know
who these people are that you're talking about, because the majority of the black community is not sitting at home playing video games.
The majority of the black community is doing a lot of things.
Where are you getting that statistic?
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
I knew I was going to be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's go.
So that guy did pretty well there. He matched her energy and then he raised her if he needed to. This person is not capable of having a civilized debate. If you act civilized and if you are calm, then they will just steamroll you. These people are the ultimate bad faith actors. Her whole entire tactic is every time they make a good point, or really any point, because she hasn't been able to respond to anything, is she just obfuscates and then goes on an unrelated diatribe.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Let's talk about that.
None of this is going to work if y'all are just going to sit here and make up shit.
Notice that she still hasn't responded to a single claim about black on black crime or about fatherlessness. All she has done is acted like she is indignant, called people names, and then started crashing out.
You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
Not though.
Your ignorance is so overwhelming. I don't know if I'm going to last.
And the next one is actually a really good example of this. Notice how this guy backs down, but he doesn't do it out of weakness. He does this because this is what we've been sort of taught is the proper thing to do as a prim and proper conservative. We have to always be completely and utterly cordial with absolutely everybody. But as per usual, when it comes to these leftists, instead of this maniac sitting across from him giving him the same respect, she just keeps screaming.
You're talking to somebody that works as a police dispatcher when I'm not making content. So here's the thing.
See.
No. You see what? The truth is, you're about to see the truth if you just give me a second. Like Trump said, just give me a second. I'm going to do the weave, but give me a minute.
Well, here's what you all keep doing. You keep interrupting me when I'm talking, and you don't want to hear the point that I'm going to make. And yet you want me to respect your point. And that's not how a debate works. So if you want me to keep getting louder, I will do it. But ultimately, if I show you respect, give me the respect back. I let you talk. I let you make your points. I am countering your points. And my points are just as valid as yours, even though you got a pocket square and a Church of Christ pin on your chest.
It's not a Church of Christ. It's
whatever.
A cross.
It's a cross. Same difference. You got an American flag and you think you know something because you a cop. And ultimately,
not a cop dispatcher.
Ultimately, it's a cab all day over here. So let me make that clear. But let me also add to my point. My point is that you can sit here and blame black people on black people all day long and not acknowledge that we are forced into. You're coming to interrupt me again.
I haven't even said a word.
So you would have noticed there that she brought up that he said something about black on black crime. And this is something that she just cannot contend with because the nature of this claim completely eviscerates her entire worldview. And also, she's actually just not very bright.
So if you want me to keep getting louder, I will do it.
So she doesn't really know how to formulate an argument against that. All she really knows how to do is just get emotional and pretend to be a victim when it suits her. I mean, this is the person who, as the article from the black community said, has an ego the size of a planet, and she cannot be reasoned with. And you can tell this as soon as you look at her. And let's just compare this for a moment. You look at her, the leftist, and then you look at guys like Michael Knowles and Charlie Kirk, who have previously been on this Jubilee in the same setting. And even look at Alex O'Connor, the atheist, who went on this. The demeanors are just so completely and utterly different. And the productivity of the conversations, or at least the productivity that could have been had if the audience members were civilized in some of those cases, it's just night and day comparing them. So, I mean, what does this tell you about which is the more reasonable side here? Anyways, I know it's the heat of the moment here and it's difficult to know what to do, but I do think that this guy played this one a little bit wrong. He sat back a little bit too much and he cowed to her every time she said I'm speaking. I'm a strong, independent black woman. You don't speak over me.
You're coming to interrupt me again.
I haven't even said a word.
And he allowed himself to get dominated in the exchange. And now the young guy from before comes back in, and I think he does a lot better this time.
So let's talk about facts. I just want to move back to systemic racism because you mentioned systemic racism earlier. I just want to look at 3 applications of systemic racism against white people and against East Asians as well. So for example, we have the National College Attainment Network, which defines affirmative action or even race-conscious admissions as taking race as one of the factors in whether or not you're going to admit a student. And we noticed that when race-conscious admissions was out of it, black enrollment dropped 64%. At UC Berkeley. And that is an act of systemic racism. Trying to look at people's races and allow them into colleges whether or not they're of a set race is racism. I mean, it's race conscious. And Martin Luther King's most famous quote is that he doesn't want his children to be judged based on race, but by the content of their character. And the content of people's characters also includes merit. We have another example of systemic racism. Burgess Owens. He's a representative out of Utah. He's a black Republican representative. He called out the MIT president for having black-only dormitories. I mean, what does that mean? Why are we trying to segregate each other and say that black people feel safer amongst black people when the truth is they are actually more in danger when they're around black people? And that's unfortunate. It's sad that I'm saying this, but it's the case, and I have to say it because it's true, okay? Black people are killing each other at a vast, crazy rate. Black men rapping about it. It's savagery. It's barbaric, and we shouldn't be doing it as a people. We should try to get more Ben Carsons. Ben Carson's cousins were murdered when he was younger, but his mother came to him and gave him a book and told Ben Carson to read and study to not be like his cousins. And Ben Carson separated 2 twins at the back back of the head, and he's known as one of the best renowned neurologists or neuroscientists that we've ever seen, right?
Ben Carson said that slaves
people.
were immigrants.
Well, they were brought here to the United States, and many of them were slaves, and we know that to be a fact.
What is the difference between someone being an immigrant and being a stolen person?
I mean, I understand that many people were stolen here, but 90% of historians agree that slavery would have not been possible if black slave owners within Africa didn't sell off their people. White people didn't show up and just start stealing people. They didn't do that. That's not how that worked.
They literally did that.
But they didn't. They worked with black owners and the Arabs.
Literally did that.
It's funny,
and Arabs did that as well. And
so, like I said before, this woman is just not very bright. She just isn't aware of history. All of the information that she has received, or all of the information maybe that she has internalized, is from an ideological echo chamber. And it's only the information that serves her victim mentality. So there's not much you can really say to a person like this. I mean, they're too far gone. Black Africans sold other black Africans to slave traders. That's just a fact. There's no disputing it. But she seems to think that all of these white people stormed the beaches of Africa and chased down the Africans and put them in little sacks and cages and put them back on the boat and brought them back to America. No, they purchased them from slave markets. Let's carry on.
And I think it's very important. And I think it's important to note that there is an oversimplification of history as well as of black people in Africa. There's a failure to acknowledge that in Africa, black people did not consider themselves black people. That was a racial distinction that was solely created by white oppressors to legitimize slavery.
Arab oppressors, actually, because the Arabs did it in the 7th century. They were the first ones.
They did not name it under blackness. They simply just decided we're going to go and have enslavers. This was a decision that was actualized and then tried to be pushed forward through eugenics. Literally, there was an executive order that was passed a few months ago that said that Donald Trump wants to now control the museums because he wants to take back control of the narrative around race. And in one of these museums that they cited was that there was a display that speaks about race not as a biological thing, but as something that has just been created as a social construct. And he stated that that is an incorrect expression of race, that race is biological.
But it is biological. Like, let's look at our phenotypical traits, the nose differences, the hair texture. It's a biological thing. Sure, there's a social concept, but there's biological differences that exist.
You're very convicted in your lack of information around these things. Race and ethnicity are two different things, okay? Ethnicity is where you're from. Race is literally something that was created to put people into categories of caste, to put people into categories of oppression. Race is not something that you are. Race is something that was bestowed and put upon you.
That's racism, not race. Race is simply the aggregation.
No, race is literally something that was created and put upon you. And I want you to listen to me as somebody who has studied this, who has a master's in African American Studies from the Institute for Research in African American Studies at Columbia University. I want you to understand very clearly that race is not something that is biological. There is literally
look at us. Look at the differences.
There is many differences that are equated to ours that has nothing to do with race.
Melanin content is not biological at all.
So if you have a black parent and you have a white parent, and now you come out looking white, how is that a biological proof of your race?
Most of them
There's
come
no
out
most of them.
having curly hair.
Stop. There's no most of them. You do not have anything to
You're
prove
mixed
that.
race too.
I am not mixed race. My mother is black and my father is black.
Well, my father is also considered black, but he's very much has a lot of European DNA in it.
Okay, so there is a little bit of nuance here when it comes to race being a social construct. Technically, that is correct. But it's something that they do play fast and loose with here. Because whilst they will say it's a social construct and it doesn't really exist when it suits them, at the same time, it is the most important thing in the entire world, and their whole entire worldview is built around it for them. And obviously, there are biological and objective components involved with this, but we'll get into it. I mean, these people really don't have much of a leg to stand on when they say that race is a social construct, so it has no biological basis. But race is treated as totally real because all black people are grouped together, defined as victims, and made the basis for collective reparations. So there's a logical clash there. If race doesn't really exist, then you can't lump people into a racial monolith to demand compensation. And if you do lump them in, then you're saying that race very much does exist. It's very real. It's clearly a heads I win, tails you lose game that they're playing. Race is just a social construct when they're challenged, but it's very, very real when it's politically expedient for them. And yes, technically it is a social construct. However, there are biological features to this, obviously. I mean, it's kind of like the sex and gender question. They say that gender is just this construct and gender is just fashion or however they present themselves or whatever. But even if it is that, it's an expression of what? It's an expression of binary sex categories. Oh, wait. So anyways, let's finish off this portion.
You know what I think? I think that you are at a phase of your learning where you are a contrarian. And I look forward to seeing your development, because I have a feeling that you're actually going to flip the script eventually, because you are somebody that definitely is grounded in wanting to learn facts and wanting to learn the truths of things. However, you're currently still stuck in an indoctrinated space that is tricking you into thinking that you are something that you are not. You are a black person who is literally having to receive the results of racism, but ultimately you are of an ethnicity that has thrived in spite of it. And that is where we really exist from. And that is where our resilience comes from in spite of systemic racism.
I think our resilience is happening now. I think growing, understanding the real problems, not going out and trying to protest against, you guys don't ever do this. KTS,
You
Dre,
guys don't ever do that.
KTS,
Who is
Dre.
you guys?
Members of the black community that don't want to hold people accountable, especially black people. So KTS Dre was shot 60 times outside of Cook County, Chicago. How many BLM members came out? You earlier said BLM
Stop
is about
referring
police.
to me as you guys.
Okay, that's fine. So, for example, we had a really good example of this where it's not a police, because I remember you
Where
said...
are you from?
Where am I from? What do you mean by that? Like, what state am I from? Where was I born?
Where do you live right now?
I live in Florida. I was born in Angola, though. I was born in sub-Saharan Africa, okay?
Where did you grow up for most of your time?
In Maine. I lived in North America.
In Maine?
Yes.
And what is the population of black people in the town that you're from?
It's really extremely low, but I grew up around black people, and there was a black community where I lived.
And that black community that you lived in, did they teach you about black history in the United States? Like, are your parents black American?
Yeah, my mom is black. My father is black.
No, I'm asking, were they born in the United States?
No, because I wasn't born there.
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola?
Yes. But again, like I told you earlier, right? In terms of people like KTS Dre, they were shot. BLM doesn't come out for them. And I remember you earlier said...
think it's really
hold on, can I
important
please finish? You earlier said that BLM is worried about police, but when Daniel Penny choked out the man that we all know was causing violence on that subway train...
He was not causing violence.
He was threatening
people.
Causing
disruption is not causing violence.
He was threatening people.
Causing disruption is not causing violence.
And the people there helped him also. And we know that we helped them.
I don't know what that has to do with BLM. Random people on a train is not Black Lives Matter.
BLM showed up for that. They did.
Showed up for what?
BLM showed up threatening white people, saying that they were going to go get white people. Now they
BLM protested.
BLM New York.
BLM protested. Where did you get that from? You see, your sources are not. You're not able to cite your sources. Please go sit down.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It's
you
not
can try
the
to avoid
truth.
it.
It's not the truth. It's not the truth. Nothing you say is actually the truth. Nothing. You're not even American. You're not even a black American.
So he's not black enough now?
You are a black person. You're not even a black American.
I mean, guys, I don't know if you caught that bit, but she really just said he's not even American. I just wonder if she would keep that same energy with all of the immigrants, all of the illegal immigrants that have come into the country, or even by her logic, even all of the first generation immigrants, the people that weren't born there. Are they not Americans? Reckon she'll yell at them and tell them that they aren't American, they don't have any right to come into this country and make any sort of prescriptive claims at all?
You're not even a black American.
For some reason, I doubt it. And now, let's suffer through the last painful monologue together.
No! God, please, no! No!
As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from black people in the United States. It is not the same. Period. And ultimately, the best effort that we can do as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment. So when I am talking to somebody from Sudan, from the Congo, from Angola, I am listening to understand their experience, not to undermine it. And I refuse to allow anybody from Grenada, from Angola, from any other place to come and try to undermine the experience of black Americans.
Why is she even allowed to monologue like this? I actually don't get it. Are we doing the whole, like, you can't interrupt a black woman thing? But just notice the contradictions there. She's saying that she listens to people from sub-Saharan Africa in order to not undermine them, only to then undermine him and his opinion because he's from sub-Saharan Africa. I mean, I would say he's definitely blacker than her. So in my perception of the victim Olympics totem pole, he would be higher. So his opinion actually matters more than hers. And he would probably face a lot more microaggressions. But guys, just a really typical example in this video of somebody who is clearly suffering from the Dunning-Kruger effect. A cognitive impairment where people with low cognitive ability overestimate their competence, and she just speaks and speaks and speaks and says things and contradicts herself constantly and actually doesn't make any sense, can never justify what she's saying, but somehow has been told or has convinced herself that she's actually a bright person. Absolutely baffling, guys. So anyways, don't forget to check out Ground News. Great company. Link down below. Don't forget to like the video. Smash that subscribe button. And if you would like to watch another video right here. Till next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.